All right, Josh. So big things happening in Bengals land. Well, maybe not big things, but big to me. So they started OTAs, um, which normally would be whatever, but the big news is that there's some Joe Burrow stuff going on. So I thought, maybe we'd look at a few things and chat about it. Maybe get your reaction on it.
Sounds good.
So the first thing I want to show you is just simple. Okay, here is Joe Burrow walking to practice, right? So he's got his knee brace on. He's going across the street. He's got his new jersey on. Got the new number. Looks like he's walking with a little bit of a limp, but he's out there. So what do you think about that? What does that make you feel when you see Joe Burrow walking under his own power, carrying his helmet, walking to practice?
It makes me excited. I think some of the things I've heard and seen from the reports and all the things that came out more recently is that it seems like he really wants to make an impression on specifically some of the newer players and maybe some of the players that have been there for last year or whatever. But I think that was the biggest thing to me. And I think that's really what separates him versus a lot of other quarterbacks that I may have liked in the past, is that I feel like his demeanor is in such a way that, like, I don't know, he always carries like a chip on his shoulder. So it's like he wants to like show that he's going to come back even better. I've heard that he says he's got more velocity on the ball. So like,
yeah,
it shows a lot.
It's interesting that you say that, because that's kind of the theme of what I want to show you. So that's good to hear.
Okay, all right. Well, but yeah, no, it just makes me excited. It just shows that he like, to me, he's like a true leader, and that's kind of what it's going to separate him versus a lot of other quarterbacks.
Yeah, no, he seems like high on intangibles, like that. He just feels like a true winner, like. Not to knock any of our previous quarterbacks, but I mean he has the physical talent, right? But and he won a national championship in college, which is a big deal. And like, the thing I liked about Andy Dalton was, even though he went to TCU, was a bit undermanned. I mean, they still won the Rose Bowl, beat a more talented Wisconsin team. So whatever Andy Dalton had, I feel like Joe Burrow is like has it 10x, right? Like, in terms of talent as well as intangibles. So all right, so the next thing I want to show you is just very simple. It's just Joe Burrow throwing a football. There's T. Higgins catching it. There's Joe Burrow. He's going to throw it to Jamar Chase. Oh, that's not good.
The drop, yeah.
I guess he threw it too hard, but So how's it feel to see him throwing?
It looks real good, and the one thing I did notice about that in this particular clip is that it looks like the receivers are stationary, as well as Joe Burrow is dropping back, but it looks like, not that I'm concerned, but I could tell they're easing him in the sense that they're not having him roll out. So it looks like they're like kind of warming up. So like, if you look at the two different routes, because I think I may have seen this video or maybe another one, not the one where I did see the one where he dropped, but it looked like there was two like short, either like an out or like a comeback route. But yeah, it looks good. It's a lot further than what I thought he would be. That's for sure.
Yeah. No, it's just great to see him throwing the football and seeing these dudes out here watching instead of him over here watching and then one of these dudes throwing, right? Do we have 2 5s, or is that a 6?
It looks like 2 5s. But
right.
It's hard to tell.
Glad to see we're saving money on jerseys. Sorry, I thought that was funny. Okay, so now we had Joe walking to practice. We have Joe throwing a couple passes. And this picks up back on your theme on, could he potentially have improved? So
velocity. How do you go about that with a knee injury? What are some of the the exercises that you did, or just routines that you did to do so?
Well, it all starts with my hips. My hips got a lot stronger just by doing the rehab. It's a lot of glute, hip flexor, hip work to help strengthen the knee and keeping the knee out of compromised positions, and that by doing that it really helped a lot.
So you have Joe Burrow saying, okay, look, I did all these glute and hip flexor exercises because of the rehab, and now I'm throwing it harder. What do you think about that? Do you think that's realistic, or do you think
it could be realistic. I don't know. I'm not really a doctor or anything like that, but based off of the footage, he looks sharp. The only thing, really, the final confirmation for me is that when we actually start seeing him rolling out and making passes, I think that's going to be like the final, breakthrough. But like I said, he's a lot further than what I thought. But yeah, no, in terms of the videos, he looks sharp, and based off of what I've seen, it seemed like the ball was moving pretty good. I get a sense that he's a very competitive person. So I think if you put something in front of his face and say that you can't come back, or you're not going to come back better, or whatever, it seems like he wants to prove a lot of people wrong. And I think that's really what's going to put us over the edge, or especially him.
Yeah, that's what the Bengals need, right? They need to prove people wrong. So it's good. I'm in off-season mode, so I want to be optimistic during the off-season because there's no reason to be pessimistic right now. You can enjoy the summer. I'm gonna buy into the hype that he's gotten better at throwing the football. He's used this time off. He's going to come back better than ever. And, I go a long way to the Bengals making a run for the playoffs. So we're, at the very least, having a super high-powered passing game, high-scoring offense, being in every game. I'm excited for that coming, in September.
Yeah, no, it's I feel like it's a great time to be a Bengals fan. I feel like we have a lot to be excited about, and I felt especially how the draft was kind of falling in line the last couple of weeks, where we pretty much knew it was either going to be Sewell or Chase. But the fact that we were able to get 1 year Burrow and T. Higgins, really, if you think about it.
Yeah.
And probably a few other players. And then I feel like they're going to, when we look back at this draft, people are going to realize how stellar it was in terms of how they were able to fill certain holes of need, and then add a lot of competition and depth. And I actually think our offensive line is a lot better than what people realize. I think actually we highlighted this before, but PFF gave us a really good grade in terms of improving our offensive line. But yeah, it's a really exciting time, and I'm not sure if I think it's towards the end of this video. Were you gonna watch another video, or
no? This is it. I just thought we'd wrap it up here.
Yeah. Yeah, I thought he had a really good line. I think it might be towards the end of this video, but I think a reporter had asked him 'cause I think there was a few questions here and there about the offensive line, and I think they were they're getting ready to close up, and basically he was just saying hey. I think essentially the reporter was just saying do you feel like we did enough and blah blah blah, or do you feel comfortable to a certain extent? It was just one of those things do you think the Bengals did enough? And then he had a really great answer. He's basically he could see where there could be. He first said he's happy to be where he's at. He thinks that organizations doing everything that they can do to get better. But then he just said, I can see where where they would need to improve. But then he was like, I need to improve. There's things that I need to improve. And then it kind of goes back to what I was saying before, and what he was bringing attention was he wants to lead people. I guess it just comes down to that. He wants to be there every day to show hey, this is how you work. This is how we're going to get better, and we are going to get better. And he's just got that mentality. And I think just that in alone, it just tells me as long as we keep this guy healthy, or help him out. And it's kind of crazy to think about too that he's actually got more pool than Aaron Rodgers. Like, because Jamar Chase was like, you know, I felt like he had to have some influence on that. I feel like I think he made it an easier decision for him, I guess, is what I'm saying.
Yeah. No, I like it. I like where we're heading. So, should be a good season.
I'm excited.
Yeah, me too.